So, I recently graduated from a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, and throughout my time at university, I did some things really well, and I also did some things not so well. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing the 10 tips I'd give myself if I was going to be starting engineering again, so that those of you who are just starting out can find out what things you should try and replicate, and what things you should try and avoid. Alright, so my first tip is that everything is figureoutable. Without a doubt, there's going to be times at university where you feel like you don't understand anything that's going on in class. But what you need to realize is that you aren't the first person to feel this way, and you sure as hell won't be the last. So whatever the topic is, don't get frustrated or upset, just think about all the different ways you can go about understanding it. For example, you've got the lecture slides, the textbook, free online textbooks, study websites, YouTube videos, your classmates, the lecturer, the teaching assistant, and maybe even a past student you could ask. Arguably, one of the most useful skills you can take away from university is learning how to learn something on your own. And by getting used to exhausting all of these options, I'm sure you'll leave with this skill. Alright, and tip number 2 is don't stop learning. In an engineering degree, we learn such a varied range of concepts and topics, and depending on what area of engineering you decide to go into, the key concepts used in that area may not have been covered in class for almost 4 years. And like anything you learn how to do, if you don't continue to practice it, you forget how it's done. Now, like I said, I know that there's a lot of content to get through, but once you narrow down your interests and you find something that you're really starting to enjoy, I would just encourage you to just once a week or once a fortnight, revise a couple of those concepts from that area. Because if you don't, you will forget a lot of those things, and it'll be like starting from scratch when you start working as a graduate. Okay, and tip number 3 is apply to internships as early as possible. Now, internships are not only a great way to start solidifying the concepts you're learning in class, but they're also a great way to start understanding what sort of company you want to work at after you graduate. As an intern, you get the luxury of jumping between companies without the repercussions. And this is because in this early stage of your career, your seniors understand that you're still trying to figure out exactly what you want to do. So it's easy to cut ties without hard feelings. In my experience, taking this time to trial out a few companies while you're still a student can make the decision of where you want to go as a graduate a lot easier and a lot more calculated. So if you can, scoop up as many of these opportunities as possible. Okay, and tip number 4 is ask questions. I don't know where this started, but there seems to be a bit of a stigma between uni students that asking questions is like uncool or something that you just don't do. And to me, this is really stupid. Asking questions is not only a great way to learn more, but it's a great way to establish a relationship with the speaker, and it also identifies you as someone who's putting in the effort to understand what's going on. And what you should do as well is pay attention to who the other people are who are asking questions, because this often means that they care and are going to be reliable, so they're the sort of people you want to work with on group projects. Alright, and tip number 5 is learn for understanding. A big mistake that me and many other students have made while they're at uni is only learning exactly what they have to do well in the assignments and the exams. And while this strategy does work for getting good grades, I must admit that it doesn't help you in your day-to-day work life as an engineer. By only focusing in on the content that's going to be examined, you're going to lack a deeper understanding. And when you're put in a position where things aren't perfectly laid out in a question format, you're going to struggle to know what to do. So what I suggest you do so you don't get stuck in this trap is 1. Make your own summary sheets which have things in your own words, and 2. Read the textbook alongside the lecture slides so you can get that bigger picture and deeper understanding. Okay, and tip number 6 is spend more time studying with friends. Studying with other people is not only a great way to consolidate things in your own head, but it's also a great way to learn from what other people are struggling with and things you may not have picked up on. While I was at uni, 2 out of the 4 years I basically completed entirely on my own because we were in and out of lockdowns and the university decided to keep everything online. So this meant that whenever there was something I didn't understand, I had to rely on myself to work it out. And in hindsight, I wasted a lot of time trying to do this and should have organised more study sessions with my classmates. Okay, and tip number 7 is have a copy of everything. And by everything I mean any of the learning material you're given, like lecture slides or question sheets, or anything you produce for assessments or while you're studying. What you may not realise is that after you graduate, or sometimes even after you aren't enrolled in a course anymore, you lose access to all the provided material. So make sure you've got it saved locally in case you ever want to refer back to something. Alright, and my next tip is to have hobbies. A big mistake that I think a lot of people can make at uni is solely focusing on getting good grades. But what can happen is that you can start to align your worth with how well you can go on your assessments. So this means that if you get a good grade, you feel awesome, but if you get a bad grade, you feel terrible about yourself. So with this being said, it's important that you've got other things that you enjoy doing so that you can remind yourself that you're worth more than just your grades. For me, I would like doing things like going to the gym, playing tennis, and getting out in nature with my friends. Okay, and tip number 9 is look for opportunities. As students, there's so many different things that we can get involved in, but unless you're willing to do the research or take the risk of putting yourself out there, you're going to miss out on a lot of these once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. For example, if you get the opportunity to do a course or a semester overseas, you should take it. Or if there's a club or a team you want to join, you should just give it a go. You really never know what these opportunities could lead to, so you should take the leap of faith and see what happens. Alright, and my final tip is to enjoy the journey. Your time at university will go really fast, and this is the only time in your life you'll get this experience, so don't just focus on getting to the end of your degree as fast as possible. Really try and find a balance between going out and experiencing new things, and also maintaining a commitment to your studies. It is easy to lose the balance and become obsessed with studying when you're trying to get high grades, but there's no point of being at one extreme end of the spectrum, because a lot of happiness and fulfillment will come from creating memories and doing other activities besides just studying. Alright, so there you have it. That was the 10 tips I'd give myself if I was going to be starting my engineering degree all over again. Also, if you're interested in learning what the top mistakes that all engineering students make are, then you should check out this video here. And if you want to find out why I think all engineering students should be taking digital notes, then you should check out this video here. Okay, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.